I don't know why I picked that sound effect. That's right, you're listening to yet another fabulous Sunday night news and nonsense. How you doing, Toss?
A quick shout out to my son Michael, who got 2 A's on his report card. Way to go, son. Love ya.
Yay! Hold on. We gotta make this official here. There you go.
I like it.
So tell me, Toss, what's new?
Well, I got lots of your favorite topic, Microsoft Windows news, but if you want to go first, go ahead.
Cool. That's cool. And speaking of which, I'm dual booting now.
What?
Yeah, well, I've had this laptop for 2.5 years, and when I bought it, the first thing I did when I got it home was I booted it up, make sure everything worked, and then wiped Windows off the hard drive completely and installed Linux. And I decided there's a few games that I own on Steam that I really want to play. So I decided, I'm going to bite the bullet and make a small little partition. And I realized that, that the instructions for cherooting into your system to restore grub after installing Windows is out of date on the Manjaro wiki. So I'll have a tutorial going up pretty soon teaching people how to fix those issues. But
nothing wrong with Windows 7 to play games, right?
From PC World Beyond Windows, why NVIDIA graphics cards are the worst for open source, but still the best for Linux gaming. According to this article, Linux users have long had a love-hate relationship with NVIDIA. On one hand, NVIDIA's proprietary graphic drivers have always been the best performing ones for Linux gaming. And on the other hand, NVIDIA has been so hostile to the open source community that Linus Torvalds literally gave it the middle finger a few years ago. Torvalds also called them the single worst company the Linux developer community has ever had to deal with. NVIDIA seemed to be improving after Valve announced its Steam Machine Endeavor, and Linus even gave NVIDIA a thumbs up. But the very latest NVIDIA graphics hardware, the GeForce GTX 900 series, is very open source unfriendly, according to a Novo developer. I don't know, Toss, do you use NVIDIA at all?
No. I don't think any of my machines have NVIDIA. It's either Intel or ATI. With this machine here, with the gateway, I have ATI. I've downloaded the extra drivers, as I call them, and it seems fine. I don't know why any vendor would want to do that, but maybe Spatry, part of the reason is, once again, we have talked about this, that Linux does not have a signature game like their own version of Halo or Schmela, whatever you want to call it. But because if they did, and it found lots of gamers, lots of buyers, that would change things.
Yeah, and the article does go further to state, that NVIDIA's contributions are far behind what Intel and AMD are doing. I know AMD does put out good drivers, and then, of course, Intel, they actually have people working with kernel developers and that sort of thing. And we all know how much you love the AMD drivers, Toss.
Don't you get me started.
My bad. What you got, Toss?
Well, speaking of gaming, and I just had a thought. You and I talked about this, but the latest spin-off of Halo called Spartan Strike is available for iPhone, iPad, Windows 8, Windows 8 Phone, and Steam. It's $5.99. This I'm verifying here, Spatry. Last year's version had 30 missions. This one also has 30 missions for $5.99. Not bad. I think it's a good deal.
I looked at a screenshot of this, though. Isn't it more like a top-down game than a first-person shooter, or was I seeing something wrong there?
It is not a first-person shooter. The next signature Halo game, Halo 5 Guardians, that is due in October of this year, but that will run $60. In the meantime, with this, you really don't need an Xbox. You need like I said, a mobile device such as a Windows 8 product or a PC, because you can download this on Steam. Now, here's what I think Microsoft might attempt to do. They should make at least these like in between, like small games, little games, make it available for Linux. Now, someone at Microsoft might say, but which Linux do we pick? Just pick one. Just pick one. We'll say maybe Debian based, since Debian's been around and Ubuntu is Debian based, right? Why not make it just for the one platform, for the one Linux based operating system? That way you can have some kind of quality control and test it that way. I bet you, even though there are, shall I say, mixed feelings about Microsoft, I bet you that if Spartan or Halo was available Linux on Steam for $5.99, I bet you it would sell very, very well. And I bet you companies like NVIDIA would come on board to make their graphics drivers Linux friendly.
Well, if you consider what we've seen, when the Steam client was released for Ubuntu, how long did it take before it hit all the other distros? A week? A month? Didn't take very long at all. So you develop for one, you're pretty much developing for all. Yeah.
Sounds good.
And while we're still on Linux, you'll remember, the thing we were talking about with Terval's naming the next release of Linux 4.0. Well, it has released this week. As a matter of fact, one of our listeners was telling me that he built it in Gen 2. That's right. Linux kernel 4.0 is out now. Feature-wise, 4.0 doesn't have all that much special. Much have been made of the new kernel patching infrastructure, but realistically, that not only wasn't the reason for the version number change, we've had bigger changes in other versions, so this is very much a solid code progress release. And as we indicated, they do now have patches which will allow you to actually upgrade without having to restart at all, and that is a new feature to the kernel. We talked about this being around for a long time before, though. Red Hat's got it, and some other companies have it, and that sort of thing. But that's now available to us. So good news indeed.
Well, Linux at times, at least certain Linux desktops can be absolutely stellar. I'm running the Ubuntu Mate, the final beta. I believe the final is out next week. I hope to have an exclusive interview with the lead developer, Martin Wimpress. But I got to tell you, I think I mentioned this before as a joke, but Ubuntu Mate, to me at least, is Windows user certified. It does everything I want it to do. Now, I understand for people, we mentioned gaming, who are into hardcore gaming, Linux isn't there yet. I get it. But like I said, certain kinds of Linux, at least the ones I use, now I know you really like Manjaro, and that's fine. But Ubuntu Mate, the latest version, for me, Spatry, has been stellar.
Awesome. What you got, Toss?
Well, let's see. Might as well keep on the Microsoft or Windows theme. Apparently,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you stop. Anyway, yes, Google Chrome is going to support Chrome for Windows XP until the end of the year. Really?
Sorry, I couldn't resist. Go ahead.
I'm not. I guess there's still a lot of Windows XP users. That doesn't bode well for the popularity, in quotes, of Windows 8.1, does it?
I guess not.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, it appears an egg-shaped Linux mini PC targets emerging markets. And, quote, Endless Computers, end quote, Kickstarter project is pitching a Celeron-based PC for emerging markets starting at $169. Features a new Endless OS Linux distro. A San Francisco-based startup called Endless Computers is close to its $100,000 goal on Kickstarter. Funding packages for its Linux-based Endless Computer start at $169 with 32 gigabytes, moving to $189 when you add Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. The price goes to $229 when you also add a 500 gig hard drive. There are also options to give computers away to poor schools and students around the world. The project closes May 15th with shipments due in June.
Cool. Let's see. I have one final piece of Windows 10 news. This is something you might like. Windows 10 will finally get support for drag and drop support for virtual desktops. Nothing new in Linux over the years, but it
we've
seems
had
like
that for a long time,
yeah, so look, some of the good stuff in Linux is coming to Windows. They finally wised up and they listened to me. See what happens when you listen to TOS. Things work your way, trust me. But yeah, I'm looking.
Yeah, they're doing that because they listen to you. I believe you.
Oh, shut up. But anyway, look for that. Windows 10 so far is looking pretty good in a virtual machine, at least in my test. And I predict Windows 10 with the return of the start menu that I first mentioned on my very first test of Windows 8 will return. So I think Spatrick will finally have his say-so with Windows 10 in the start menu. Yay!
Oh, okay, cool. Well, it appears, well, before I even go into that, we've been waiting for Deckard to show up again, and he even told me last night during game night he was going to be here, and I don't know where he is, but we do hope that he is okay, but I'm going to fire him the next time I see him.
Hello, Deckard.
Yeah, we don't know where he is, what's going on, or what have you, and I'm busy writing down a few numbers. But I suppose what I'll do is first I'll throw a piece of news, and then we'll do our giveaway here. It appears that Twitter moves non-U.S. accounts to Ireland, away from the NSA, everybody loves the NSA. You knew that was coming at some point, right? Twitter has updated its privacy policy, creating a two-lane service that treats U.S. and non-U.S. users differently. If you live in the U.S., your account is controlled by San Francisco-based Twitter Incorporated. But if you're elsewhere in the world, anywhere else, it's handled by Twitter International Company in Dublin, Ireland. The changes also affect Periscope. What's the significance of this? Twitter Incorporated is governed by U.S. law and is obliged to comply with NSA-driven court requests for data. Data stored in Ireland is not subject to the same obligation. Twitter is not alone in using Dublin as a base for non-U.S. operations. Facebook is another company that has adopted the same tactic. The move could also have implications for how advertising is handled in the future. What you got, Toss?
Thank you for that story. I'll sleep much better tonight. I have nonsense. Are you ready?
It's time for the nonsense report. Bring it on.
Well, the first one's actually somewhat nonsense, but it's kind of cool. I guess firefighters who are responding to calls of screams of fire and help from a burning house, they were actually coming from, I guess, pet parrots, and they saved the parrots. How cool is that?
Ah, cool. Now, Toss, I said I was going to do a giveaway, and I forgot to do that. Can you please give me any number between 1 and 9? Tonight, we are giving away a copy of Mountain Blade with Fire and Sword. This game does, I know for a fact, it does run on Linux when you install the Steam client using Play on Linux and you have DirectX 9 installed. I have Mountain Blade Warband as well. That has a Linux port, so this should run fine for you. But most of my listeners are dual booters anyway. Pick a number between 1 and 9. Let's give this to somebody.
I'll tell you what, since my son got 2 A's on his last report card, I will pick the number 2.
And number 2 goes out to Siva Machina. Congratulations, you are tonight's winner, and I will be giving you a private message on the forum where you can claim your Steam key and redeem it and get a copy of Mountain Blade with Fire and Sword. It is the latest standalone expansion for Mountain Blade, so being a standalone, meaning you don't have to have Mountain Blade installed. It looks really good. I've played Mountain Blade Warband, and this is just another one in the series, so I hope you enjoy RPG and gaming. It should be a lot of fun. Well, Toss, did you know David Hasselhoff made a music video?
No.
Yeah, I actually, I was bouncing around on Google this morning looking at Strange But True News, and I found this. And, well, the thing is, he's got this music video called True Survivor. You guys gotta just Google it. You'll find it very easily. This is from the ABC News website. The video, which mimics the trailer for the upcoming movie King Fury, opens with Hoff driving a police car approaching 3 street thugs. Hey, do you have a permit for those guns? And then, of course, these punks, they roll a skateboard part way under the car and flip the car, and he comes out of the car shooting bullets at them and that sort of thing. And, I mean, it brought back a lot of the 80s nostalgia and feel, and there's a lot of violence and fighting and everything going on in the video, and the music sounds like something's right from the 80s and that sort of thing. But I kind of had to raise an eyebrow at the end when he's riding a T-Rex with a dude behind him at dusk. I'm like, oh goodness.
Well, of course, David, famous.
I would think he'd be riding the T-Rex with one of these, Baywatch babes. But no, he's riding the back of the T-Rex with some dude. I was kind of like, what?
Maybe he should have found a Baybrex.
Yeah. What you got, Doss?
Let's see. Some nonsense out of Florida. Where is Tamarack, Florida?
Tamarack, I was living there for quite a while. That's actually in Broward County. It's about 5 minutes outside of Fort Lauderdale.
Well, apparently 4 teenagers are facing felony charges for taking a joyride on a forklift.
Really?
Really? A forklift? You guys couldn't pick anything more exciting, like a tricycle, a forklift? Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Okay, I've got some food for thought for you here. And I'll read a few of these to you, and then you can throw any other nonsense at me. Okay, you know when you're investing money and that sort of thing, why is it that the person who's supposed to help make you richer is called a broker?
Don't know.
When cheese gets its picture taken, what does it say?
Duh.
Why is a person who plays the piano called a pianist, but a person who drives a race car is not called a racist?
Oh, please.
Okay, here's another one. Do Roman paramedics refer to IVs as fours?
What?
Why are there locks on the door of stores that are open 24/7, 365 days a year?
I give up.
Why are there braille dots on a drive-through ATM keypad? Have you ever noticed that? These are things that make you go, Why do doctors call what they do practice? Shouldn't they be good at it by now?
You would hope.
Okay, this is something that's been really troubling me for years. Why do we buy hot dogs in packages of 10 and buns in packages of 8?
Are you on a diet?
I don't know. What you got, Toss?
Well, might as well stay in Florida. Melbourne, Florida. I've been there. Nice place.
Yeah, I know Melbourne. I got some friends up there.
Cool. Well, this is somewhat very unusual. A man who was strung out on synthetic drugs, he claimed to be the Norse god Thor and attempted to do a sexual act on a tree.
Must have been on some funny ice there, huh?
I never come across and he was nude, of course. Duh.
Oh, goodness. Ugh. Okay, here's something for you, Toss. If you throw a cat out your car window, does it become kitty litter?
You're sick, you know that.
Okay, here. How about this one? If corn oil comes from corn and olive oil comes from olives, where the heck does baby oil come from?
I'm not even going to go there.
Okay, and this is one for your kid. If the number 2 pencil is most popular, why is it still number 2?
That's actually a very good question, yeah.
Why do they call them apartments when they're all together?
Aha.
If instant oatmeal is instant, then why does it take 1 or 2 minutes to cook in the microwave?
Is this a Polish joke?
If you get cheated by the Better Business Bureau, who do you complain to?
Guido in Sicily.
Hey, do you remember the name Donkey Kong?
Yes.
Well, the game has a monkey. Why isn't it called Monkey Kong?
Oh, that's so wrong.
Hey, if a rabbit's... remember the lucky rabbit's foot?
Yes.
Well, if the rabbit's foot was really lucky, wouldn't it still be attached to the rabbit's leg?
What is with you tonight?
Hey, why do they call it babysitting when all you do is run after them?
Boy, ain't that the truth.
Okay, why are pants, shorts, and underwear sold as a pair when you only get one item?
Ah, yeah.
Why is the third hand on a clock called the second hand?
I feel like I'm on a game show. What do I win here?
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Wait.
What you got, Toss?
One last bit of... I really like this guy, but this is nonsense. Captain Kirk, William Shatner. Love the guy. He is starting a Kickstarter campaign to save California.
To save California from what?
A water shortage. Now, hear this out. This is his plan. Okay. He wants to raise $30 billion. That's a B, 30 billion, to build a pipeline, kind of like the Alaska pipeline. But instead of coming from Alaska, and I quote, he says, say from Seattle, where there's a lot of water, there's too much water. How bad would it be to get a large 4-foot pipeline, keep it above ground, because if it leaks, you're irrigating. And of course, where would this pipeline go? Bring it down here, he says, and fill out one of our lakes, Lake Mead. That's his plan to save California from the drought.
You know, that might be something if he can pull that off, but I don't know. He's crowdfunding this?
It's on Kickstarter. It's $30 billion. I guess it would take that much to build it. Why not? We spend trillions of dollars overseas, right? So what's $30 billion?
And how many people live in California?
I guess between, 20 and 30 million, right?
Yeah, so that means... I don't think he's going to raise enough money.
Unless Schwarzenegger wants to chip in. Yeah.
Well, that's all I've got for tonight. And unless you've got anything else you want to throw at us.
No, I think that's it. Just a quick reminder. There's still time to vote for your favorite April YouTuber for this month. It does not necessarily have to be technology related. Maybe somebody new.
Pick me.
Sure, why not? And go fill his ego. Please, his head is big enough. That's all I have.
All right, well, that was another fabulous Sunday night news and nonsense report. Apparently, we're having problems with the weather here, and I keep getting disconnected and that sort of thing. But thank you, Total OS, today for joining me. Thank you, everybody who's been listening with us in the listening room. We will be back here the same time next week. And we'll have more stuff going on Saturday night for our Cup of Linux game night, more prize giveaways, and of course we'll be giving away stuff during our news and nonsense report. More details you can get more details, I should say, at cupoflinux.com. We'll see you all there. Peace out.